Most people speak of England as though it has always been there, a quiet cornerstone beneath the louder stories of Britain and the United Kingdom. Yet the country itself was only hammered into shape in the early Middle Ages, its borders tempered by invasion, rebellion, and uneasy alliances. Our journey begins more than 1,000 years ago, when the Romans packed their legions and sailed away, leaving the island to fend for itself. When the eagles flew home, with Rome's last garrisons gone, Britain fractured. Native Britons suddenly faced raids from Picts and Scots pouring over the northern frontier. In desperation, they hired mercenaries from across the North Sea, Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, warriors who first came as defenders and soon decided to claim the land for their own. By the early 600s, seven rival Anglo-Saxon realms, Essex, Kent, Sussex, Mercia, East Anglia, Northumbria, and Wessex, ruled what we now call England. Chroniclers knew this patchwork of crowns as the Heptarchy. For a while the kingdoms fought among themselves, trading tribute, territory, and the occasional royal hostage. Gods from the sea, everything changed in the summer of 793. Longships knifed through the surf at Lindisfarne, and Norse raiders stormed the island monastery. The attack sent a shockwave across Christendom. If the Northmen could sack a holy sanctuary, nowhere was safe. Danish armies followed the raiders. By 875, they had swallowed East Anglia, Mercia, and Northumbria. Only Wessex, tucked in the island's southwest corner, stood free. Alfred's Crucible. When King Ethelred of Wessex died, the crown fell to his younger brother Alfred. At first Alfred bought peace with silver, but Viking demands grew and he chose steel instead. In 878, at Edington, his shield wall broke the Danish onslaught. The Danes retreated. Wessex survived. Victory gave Alfred leverage. He installed a loyal ealdorman to steer a half-ruined Mercia while he rebuilt fortresses, the famous burhs, and organized a navy. In effect, Wessex now guided two kingdoms. The Lioness of Mercia and her brother Alfred's death in 899 passed the baton to his son, Edward the Elder, and to Edward's formidable sister, Ethelfled, the Lady of the Mercians. Brother and sister wage a coordinated campaign against the Viking Danelaw. 917, Ethelfled pushes Mercian borders to the gates of York. 918, Edward annexes East Anglia and, after Ethelfled's sudden death, absorbs Mercia outright. By 924, nearly every English-speaking settlement south of the Humber hailed Edward as Lord. Athelstan, first king of all the English. Edward's heir, Athelstan, proved even bolder. When his sister's husband, the Norse king of York, died in 927, Athelstan swept north and folded Northumbria into his realm. For the first time, an English monarch ruled from the Channel to the Tweed. He styled himself Rex Totius Angliae, King of all England. Two foes refused the new order, Alba, early Scotland, and the Norse Gaelic kingdom of Dublin. They forged an alliance that met Athelstan at Brunanburh in 937. The battle was apocalyptic. When the sun set, the Anglo-Saxon host still held the field. English identity, many scholars say, was born in that blood-soaked victory. Storm after calm, Athelstan died in 939, and Vikings pounced again. Dublin's King Olaf reclaimed York. Parts of Mercia and Northumbria slipped from English grasp, but Edmund the Fierce, Athelstan's half-brother, proved resilient. 941, he retook the Midlands. 944, York fell back into English hands. 945, Strathclyde was raided, its southern districts annexed. Stability, alas, remained fragile. Edmund was murdered in 946. His brother Edred inherited the throne and spent 8 torturous years ejecting Eric Bloodaxe, Norway's rogue prince, from Northumbria. In 954, Bloodaxe fell. The north was English once more. Edgar the Peaceful and the Shape of a Nation. A brief palace coup split the crown between two brothers, Edwig in the south, Edgar in the north. When Edwig died, Edgar united the kingdom, 959, and, at last, England exhaled. Edgar's reign was remarkable not for war, but for what followed it: standard coinage and weight-stabilized trade. A reformed church network knit parishes to the crown. Danish customs inside the former Danelaw were respected, easing ethnic tension. For nearly 2 decades, Edgar the Peaceful governed a realm that, geographically and institutionally, resembled modern England. Legacy of an anvil forging. England was no straight line. Waves of settlers, kings, and conquerors hammered the land. Romans left their roads, Anglo-Saxons their shires, Vikings their legal codes, and reforming monarchs their bureaucracy. By Edgar's death in 975, the pieces had clicked into place. The island still had wars to fight and crowns to trade, but the idea of a singular English kingdom, rooted in common law, coin, and tongue, was here to stay. England's path from fractured frontier to unified kingdom took centuries of turmoil. But in that crucible of clash and compromise, a durable nation emerged, one whose story still echoes in every parish church, every seaside fort, and every field where shield walls once stood.